Good Friday morning. Larry Sprinkle here along with Chris Mulcahy. It's time for our wake-up weather situation here as we take a look at show. What a morning it's been. I mean, locally, things are okay, but if you take a look across the region, big changes over the next 12 to 24 hours. Got the latest in on the hurricane, by the way.
What's that? Here we go.
This is the 8 a.m. advisory. Wind still at 85 miles per hour.
That's still a sizable Category 1 hurricane.
Moving now north at about 9 miles per hour. The current position puts it just to the south-southeast of Charleston, South Carolina. Landfall maybe somewhere between Charleston, Myrtle Beach, don't you think, Chris? Somewhere in that area right there.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's changed a little bit, it's trending a little bit further north, but I want people to focus on one thing. I think a lot of people are kind of underplaying this because, yes, it's not a Category 4 storm anymore. It doesn't have the same impacts as Florida, but this is still a major situation as far as the flooding goes. Storm surge value is about 4 to 7 feet. That's from the Charleston area, and that includes all the way up to about the Myrtle Beach area. So a sizable push of water is going to happen, especially the northern edge, and that's one of the reasons why it's under a hurricane warning.
Without a doubt. That hurricane warning extends all the way from Charleston right up to the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach, all the way to Oak Island, all those south-facing beaches right there. And for our area, most of the Charlotte metro area, we are under a tropical storm warning. Doesn't happen that often. We certainly have that right now. We could see sustained winds. That's a constant wind up to 30 miles an hour. Then you get some gusts up to 50. That's trees down, power lines. I mean, it's certainly, and then the amount of rainfall we get, Chris, 3 to 6 inches of rain. It's kind of all over the place as far as totals.
Focusing on the down trees, it doesn't really take a lot, just depends. We've actually had some down trees, just some older ones, like that have come down when there has been barely a breeze. We had a down tree that was blocking a road when I was doing traffic in Chester County. Right. The winds aren't even that bad. So we will have down trees regardless. I think people focus in and was like, oh, the winds aren't all that high. Here, if it rains, if you have gusts to 35, that's enough to uproot some of these shallow-rooted trees. So we will have down trees that will take out power, and that also ups most of the deaths that come from wind damage are from fallen trees, so keep that in mind.
And those older trees, particularly like in the Myers Park neighborhood, where those trees are 100 years old, those are the ones that typically can go down. Those are the gigantic trees. And you see the track takes it, the remnants across the Charlotte area, then all the way north of here, tracking across into areas in the southwestern corner of Virginia as we get into the early part of the weekend. What I did is show you the areas and the different types of wind speeds. Your coastal areas, 100% chance they're going to get tropical storm force winds.
You will have tropical storm force winds, and also you will have hurricane force winds, at least somewhere, I would say really between Charleston and Myrtle Beach. Yeah. That looks to be the sweet spot. We did a weather cue on Wednesday about the dirty side of the storm. That's the right side for where it's moving. Looks like that is just going to be just where at least the most intense winds are going to be.
And some of those could be in those areas, like Oak Island, in North Carolina, up towards just south of Wilmington. In that area. Now, one we're going to eliminate, at least in our areas, the fact that we're not going to see any severe storms to cause east of here. And when you see a probability, people go, that's not that much. Actually, it pretty much is.
Yes.
And that's in the eastern part of North Carolina.
That means if you have 20 thunderstorms, one of those could be rotating to produce a tornado. And the reason why we're not really going to see anything is because of this map. Look at these temperatures that we are looking at across the area. Right now we have 53 degrees in Charlotte. This is over on the traffic computer, by the way. 53 degrees in Charlotte, but then meanwhile it's 71 degrees over in Cape Hatteras. Wilmington is at 67 degrees. If we can pop over to the other computer, 63 in Myrtle Beach. Really, you need much warmer temperatures. If this was a true warm core storm, we would be dealing with a much better chance for widespread severe weather. I think that we would have much heavier rain rates. But this cooler air, because we have the stationary front that is going to be twisted up into everything, that's trapping that cooler air in the mountains. It's 47 degrees in Boone, 51 in Asheville. So that's what really the big protectant is. So
yeah, be thankful for the
thank goodness.
I mean, that's going to
It's miserable, though.
It's miserable to be out in it, but especially later today with the heavy rain and the high winds and the cooler temperatures. And so what we're looking at as we head into the mid part of the morning all the way through the evening and into the early part of the tomorrow morning. That's those high winds out there. When we say 20 to 30 mile an hour constant winds, that is a high wind right there. That means it's not stopping. It's steady wind. Then you get a gust of 50. then the heavy rain on top of that.
Yeah, and I would. It's not too late because we haven't really hit the peak winds right now. According to some of Larry's graphics that we'll go back to, it looks like the peak winds are really going to be late afternoon through this coming evening. That we're going to have the best chance for that. But really, all in all, the remnants of this, there they are. The main circle of circulation, so the main center of this, just to the right, that's where you're going to have the strongest winds. It's tracking a little bit further east of Charlotte, so it's still gusts of 40, 45.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but notice that Chesterfield right there. That's right near the center. So I think it's Chesterfield County, Richmond, and Anson County. You guys have the best chance for the strongest winds and the most damage that could come from this.
And so that's going to be the issue. That's 7 o'clock this evening. Some of those higher winds will be between about 6 and midnight tonight. Something to think about. You got plans out. Make sure you got the batteries. Your phone is going to be charged, and make sure that's hopefully it's done already by now. Because we are definitely going to see some very high winds. And there's a radar picture. Some of the heaviest rain right now tracking in the areas around Wilmington, North Carolina, around Charleston. They already had a flood warning there, flash flood warning in Charleston. It just shows the extent of the amount of heavy rain they've already had in that area. Look at these. These are the constant winds right here, all the way from now into the midnight hour. Somewhere from 22 to about 30 miles per hour.
No, those are usually wind gusts that we see around here. Usually it's like, oh, that's a gusty day.
Yeah.
That means it's non-stop blowing through the day. And you saw the radar. It started raining already. Larry's about to show you it's not really going to stop for most of the day.
It's just going to be on-off rain. Gusty winds. Just going to be a miserable day. Good news about the weekend.
Yes.
Sunday, I think Sunday afternoon should be all right.
Yeah.
It should be a great day for football action.
Huge improvements compared to what we said earlier in the week.
And then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back to sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s. By the end of next week, we'll obviously be here throughout the day and then right through the evening, overnight, and tomorrow all day. You'll be weather aware here with WCNC.
Perfect evening to maybe stay in and just relax and watch some WCNC.
And listen to that wind and the rain.
Stay safe.
See you Monday.